Okay, this is a part 2 for my tub and shower repair that I did yesterday. I wasn't happy. It didn't work, so I wanted to show you kind of what happened. You can see, as I was sanding it, it pulled out on this small section here, and there's another section next to it, which you might be able to see, or maybe not, right here, where it pulled out, but not all the way down to the bottom. Now, that one just doesn't show up very well, but when it's wet, or when you see a different light, you can see that that's not flush, and so that one started pulling out. The reason for this is probably two reasons. One was I followed the instructions that were on this box. Okay, so instruction number 1, it says clean the surface and target patching area, remove all the liquid dust and any moisture. Well, I certainly did clean it, but then what I didn't do was, if you look at the instruction on this other tub and shower repair kit that I did on a previous repair, you notice on step 1, it says, first, enlarge the chip to a depth of at least 1/16 of an inch by sanding with the edge of a file or folding sandpaper or grinding tool and remove all this material. And then 2, it says, make sure it's clean and wipe with the alcohol cloth provided. Okay? So probably, these weren't probably deep enough. Because this is certainly probably less than 1/16 of an inch, in other words. Now, it worked okay on some of these, but on 2 of them it didn't, so I'm going to guess that it wasn't deep enough. And the other thing was, I didn't wipe it with the alcohol, so the bonding might not have been as good as it could have been. I might have washed it, let's say with a sponge, soap and water, and then afterwards I could have rubbed my finger over it, let's just say, to brush it. And who knows, it should have been clean, but there could have been some oil, or it's not as clean. So it could have been a combination of those two things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig that out. These 2, I'll probably leave the other ones alone since they seem okay. I don't want to make extra trouble where there isn't really any trouble. Color match is not perfect, but it's not terrible. If you step back for a while, then it looks great. So anyway, hopefully this won't draw too much attention. Now I'm going to dig those out. I'll put this on pause. I'm going to remix. I'll go through the procedures. There was also another step that I noticed. I should mention it now. That was, after doing this repair yesterday, I actually got an email from an Amazon vendor. And it said, oh, here's some additional information that might help you, but I had already done the job an hour before. And it had a step on it where it said, to avoid the sanding step, take a plastic tape. Now, honestly, I don't know what they meant by plastic tape, but I think that what they meant was saran wrap, a plastic film. I don't think you want adhesive, but the idea that they said was, after you apply the material, put plastic tape over is what it said, but I think it's plastic film. Smooth it out, and then let it sit there, and then when you're done, remove it. And it says that you may have something which does not require any sanding at all. I had a similar experience using auto body filler, Bondo, and using a plastic trash bag, which is very similar plastic film, using it to work the surface to make it smooth, because what happens with that little spatula is it's not smooth. You have these little ridges and what have you, and you end up having to sand those out. Now with this plastic film, you can make it smooth. Whether you can eliminate the sanding completely, I'm not sure, but it's worth a try. There's no harm done there. Okay, so it's a time saver anyway, even if all it did was minimize the sanding. I'm going to hit this pause, and now we'll go to the next step I'll show you after I've applied the material. Okay, pause. Okay, here's unpaused. I went ahead and I dug all of them out. The reason was, as I was digging out the 2 that I needed to, I noticed that that little piece, just popped out. So this material is not anywhere near as hard as the original fiberglass gel coat, and it's not going to be able to withstand the level of abuse that this did. So it may seal these areas from water intrusion. It may make them look okay cosmetically, but it's not going to withstand any abuse. I don't know how these holes got here. I assume that there was some sort of a container of shampoo or something that had sharp edge, or was made of metal, or somehow something banged on that. I don't know. But I guess this stuff doesn't last forever, but we'll see. Now I'm going to try it, and I'll do a patch. I did clean these out. I used rubbing alcohol. It didn't come with the kit didn't come with it, but I used it anyway to clean it out. They are deeper. I kind of abraded the surface down below, try to make it rough. I can't say that it's more than a 1/16 of an inch because of the coat is only that thick, and underneath it I didn't want to really start destroying the material, because with this patch is not so great, then it could make it worse than it was. So I basically dug them out. I made the surface rougher, and I'll probably just go with it. I'll probably go with a single coating over all of these to make it a little bit thicker, maybe. So we'll see what happens. I'll hit pause. Okay, I mixed up another batch. I used only a real micro dot on the toothpick to get the color. I mixed up about the same amount. I ended up with this type of a color. The match probably seems about as good as it was last time, but I may not have had to re-add more original white material. Okay, now I'm not going to do that with the trowel. I'm going to actually do that with this plastic film. Okay, so I'm going to pause again to see how that comes out. Okay, I smoothed it out with the plastic film, and you can kind of feather it just with your fingers, making it smoother, and we'll see what happens when this dries. It looks like a lighter color match than the previous one, which just looks like it was a little bit better. But I don't think you're ever going to get a complete match with just adding that one pigment. So, okay, well that's it. I can't pause it because it's going to take 24 hours to dry, so there might be a part 3 on this one. Thanks, bye.